Okay. Who are your 5 AFC teams?
Okay. 1 is Bills. 2 is Ravens. All right. And this is where I go askew. I go 3, I go Patriots. I go 4. Yeah, I knew that would be spicy. 4, I go Titans. And then 5, I go Chiefs. But honestly, there could have been about 3 other teams there.
So who are the other teams?
I went Raiders, Bengals, Chargers after that.
Okay. We have the same top 2 teams. We have the Bills. Okay. Let's all right. First of all, let's walk through yours. Why do you think the Bills are still number 1?
Oh man, honestly, it's hard to say. They are the number 1 because they're the one team that has shown they can win in different ways. They have shown this defense. I trust this defense. Even if the Titans game, they're not going to play the Titans every week. The Titans are a bad matchup for them, but they're not going to play them every week. They might play them in the playoffs, but I think this defense can hang with anybody. Just how they win. They have so many good players. They win by soundness. They make you beat them, and no matter what, they'll be in every game. And offensively, Josh Allen is still Josh Allen doing these things. He is the whole offense, and that's what they've tried to really figure out on offensively. It is disjointed. They're trying to live in the spread world, which does limit some of the stuff they're doing. And I do think these teams that play them often, the teams in their division, the Chiefs, the teams that repeat play them, the Ravens or the Steelers, I'm sorry, other teams that have repeated and play them are starting to have some more answers. So I think really for them, that's hard. This is my number 1 team, and I'm already talking about stuff that they have to improve upon. The AFC teams, it's like, oh, look at these fireworks. Oh, look at this. That's a blue one. That's a red one. This one's like, oh my God, it's like firecrackers just going off. But it's just with this Bills team, they can win in different ways. I've seen this offense peak. It's just this offense I think is going to be up and down because they're going to have some bad matchups. Just how they want to win the spread. A bunch of little receivers. It's mean how I say that, but they do win against man. They can do that, but it's just how they're built. There are some.
We haven't seen them hit the level they were on last year.
We have
not seen that eruption.
They're winning in different ways.
Yet. Yes, they're winning uglier, and I think that's a good thing. The fact that we haven't seen their offense really hit its stride, and they've still been a top 10 offense by most efficiency metrics, right at the edge of the top 10, but still up there, and they're winning all these games ugly, I think is good. I think that's a sign that if we can win even when things really aren't clicking and the rest of the teams in the conference continue to kind of struggle and flounder in all of these different ways, that's a good sign for us moving forward.
Yeah.
I also have the Ravens at 2.
Okay.
I don't know what my exact reasoning is. Here's my reasoning. I think that of all the players that we're talking about here, and of all the units we're talking about here, I still feel really good about the Ravens offense overall because of what Lamar can give them and what the running game is, even with the concerns about, their talent at running back right now is so limited and so obvious. You just can't, if we had running back notch higher, their running game would be supersonic the way that it's been in years past. But it's not that right now. The defense, to me, still has great games. They can still find great games. I'm still worried about the secondary. I think ultimately it could doom them. But I don't feel that much better about any of the teams behind them, so that's why they're number 2. It's not a good argument. I'll admit that it's not a good argument, but I don't have a better argument for anybody else.
It's so funny how you said that. You're like 2, and I don't feel good about it because it was like I put them 2, and I was trying to go sort through this, and I was like, I think, and this is my first note about the Ravens. I go, put the next 7 teams in a blender. It's just chaos.
I feel like
it just way. Is. That's whatever. This is AFC's could be this how it is. All these teams are going to sort out as they're getting on buys and kind of like some are going to take leaves, some are going to just hang here. This Ravens team, we know what the negatives are. Like you just said, the DBs, the pass coverage is a little dicey week in, week out. It's like, up front, they have kind of some nice pieces and they're doing some good things. And then offensively, we know the offensive line limitations. Like they're playing better. They are playing better, but it's not
tackles
great.
Still concern me, though. That's
still not,
just in the back of my mind. It's like haunting me. And the corners and the tackles are haunting me. Those are not 2 spots that you want weak links. And this is a team with weak links at those spots. And it's still the number 2 team in the AFC.
Yes, I know. And you're like, and that's the thing. It's like Lamar can just go supernova. And then you're like, yep, there they are. That's the Ravens. But it's like you never know what you're going to get every week.
I don't have the Patriots in my top 5. I understand why you put them in there. So I have the Titans at 3.
Okay.
To me, it's just I think the offense is finding its footing.
Yes.
To me, they have star power. We're going to talk about that. I think A.J. Brown being back and looking like A.J. Brown is really big for them. They even have Julio today. I think that they're finding themselves offensively. They're going to get better on that side of the ball. Their defense they have a couple guys who continue to make plays. Harold Landry made plays today. Kevin Byard made plays today. We'll talk about that. So but I don't feel good about that. And I have the Chiefs at 4 because I don't feel good about anybody, so I might as well put Mahomes in there.
That's it. I'm never betting against them. So it's like, all right, I got to throw them somewhere.
Even if they have the worst defense in the league, and we're confident they're going to have the worst defense in the league, in my mind, in a different world, let's say we're in a place where the Ravens are more complete, where the Browns are the team we thought they were coming into the season, where the Chargers aren't having some of these issues offensively, then this version of the Chiefs wouldn't deserve to be in this conversation.
Correct.
We wouldn't be talking ourselves into, oh, well, the turnovers will come back to earth. They still move the ball. There's no way this turnover differential and this turnover rate can continue. And when that normalizes, even if the defense is bad, they'll be fine. I wouldn't be doing that if I thought there were serious roadblocks from other teams in the AFC, but I don't feel that way. So that's why it's easy to talk myself into putting them in this group, even with the way that they played and even with what their record is.
Yeah, and it's like even the other teams I was like considering, like, okay, Raiders, okay, but they just literally fired their head coach. And it's like, yes, they're improving, but that team has its blemishes too. I just think they haven't played anyone that's really like kind of abused with their with some of the stuff they do defensively and stuff like that. So it's like I'm the same way you are. My only note I had for the Chiefs was just like, I'm not betting against Mahomes. I'm not betting against this team that has proven that they can do this. And I get it. The defense is atrocious, but it's like they improved the last week they played. They're playing tomorrow night. I think they might just blow them out of the water, and we just go, oh yeah, that's right, they can do that.
Keep saying that though, and then it doesn't happen. But again,
I even bet on it on our Friday show too.
if there was a different situation, if the landscape of the conference was different, I wouldn't be making such a simplistic argument. I wouldn't be going back to this well. So I had the Chiefs at 4. I had the Bengals at 5. But to me, whatever. You could have the Bengals there. You could have the Chargers there.
Yeah.
I think the Browns are still probably somewhere in the conversation. We'll get to them. They're not playing very well, especially on offense. But I do think it's so muddled that you can put a bunch of teams there. Why do you have the Patriots as high as you do?
I have, from what we've done on the Friday shows, we have now watched the Patriots a lot. And it's like what they're doing they're hanging with good teams, not only just like the Cowboys and stuff like that. I think they are improving week in, week out. Their defense is they're not doing anything that Bill Belichick has never done before, but the pressures they're bringing are different as opposed to maybe doing their all mugged up, the Sam Darnold seeing ghost kind of pressures. They're doing just the one-off ones where just one guy comes. They're playing the man
from different places
behind.
too, from the slot sometimes, from the linebacker spot sometimes.
Yes, they had a real fun one. We'll talk about in a sec. But the drop 8 stuff, and then just offensively, I think they're figuring it out. Like Mac Jones was pushing the ball, and every week he pushes the ball just a little bit more, and that was my main blemish with him. And it's like, okay, cool. Like the guys aren't super explosive, but they do enough. It's a nice mixing of role players. But I could see that offense just improving weekend, and especially with the offensive line getting healthier as well.
It's just hard for me to buy into their ceiling. I mean, you just think about the playmaking talent that some of these other teams have, and they just don't have that. When they need something, when they need an explosive play, when they need somebody just to kind of be above and beyond, I just don't know who that is on their roster. And I just think that their ceiling offensively is limited in ways that other teams in this conversation aren't. I don't know what to make of the Bengals. I mean, I
don't either.
It's such a confusing time for every single team in the AFC. I think that's why we want to do this, because it's really hard to sort through them. The question I want to ask you, though, how many teams in the AFC would be the second best team? How many teams in the NFC would be the second best team in the AFC?
4?
I think it's 4.
Yeah, everybody the
Bucks,
other top
Packers,
5.
Cowboys, Cardinals would all be the second best team in the AFC.
Yep, I agree with that. It's the Eastern Conference. I mean, that's what it is this year. It's like the
NFC
NBA
playoffs are going to be a bloodbath.
Oh, I know.
Every single game is going to be incredible.
It's going to be awesome. Oh, every matchup is just going to be ooh. Like none of those like just blowouts were no offense, but like the Saints Bears game last year where you're like, oh, I know how this one's going to finish up.
I'm sure that these lists will not look ridiculous in 2 weeks when we have to do this again. I'm sure that these will hold up extremely well because it's been a very predictable, normal season where everything has happened about on schedule and about the way we assumed it would.
Exactly. Everything is just, trajectory straight upwards. That's how it is, week in, week out.